Are you ready to level up your 5e game without dishing out big bucks for a new core rulebook? This is a review of Level Up, the starter box set. Let's dive in. Here we have the Level Up Advanced 5th Edition starter box. Comes with one rulebook, 3 adventures, 5 pre-generated character sheets, 6 maps, and 91 tokens. But let's take a look on the back of the box and see what we have. Add depth and diversity to the game you love. Revitalize your 5e adventures with this box set, centered around a 66-page rulebook brimming with dynamic rule enhancements, a deeper, more flexible enhancement of the 5e rule set, which you know and love. If you love 5e but would like a little more depth to the rule set, Level Up is the game for you. It reimagines traditional gameplay, infusing it with new energy and possibilities. Alongside the rule updates, the set briefly guides you through Albia's mystical highlands in Elisar, enriched with vivid maps and engaging monster tokens, setting the scene for unforgettable journeys. So we do have access to a very much condensed version of the rules manual, which we'll take a look at here in just a minute. We've got 3 adventures: Clan Erin's Moot, Valley of Misfortune, and Crypt Erin. The first 2 are for PCs of level 4. The last one is for level 5. We have 5 pre-generated characters of level 4 and 1 blank character sheet in the back. We have Diamond, a plain touched cleric oracle, and these are like really small booklets. It'll have everything that you need with room to write in it if you so wish. I'm not a big fan of those. In the back of which is a player's guide of a sort. Kind of gives you some of the special rules there, but we've got Guy Vin, a dwarf rogue trapsmith. We've got Talingabet, a dragonborn ranger warden. We've got Akani, a human adept brawler. And then we've got Mara, a halfling sorcerer traveler. And then, of course, our blank character sheet. We have 3 double-sided posters making for 6 player maps. The maps are very much hit or miss. Some are simple with simple shapes and colors, while others are a little bit more detailed. And the qualities of these maps are actually all over the place as well. First up, we have the region map for the second adventure. And on the flip side, we have a generic cliffs map, which is used for the bandit ambush. This is the first encounter, and this actually looks really nice. We have a map of a house for an assassination attempt, and this is by far the roughest looking map. There is some artifacting and some pixelation going on. On the opposite side, we have a crypt that is used for the Fey Knights battle. And then the last poster, we have a map of Erin's tomb. And on the flip side, we have a map of a road that is used for an ambush in the first adventure. And last but not least, we have 91 tokens. And compared to their book counterparts, these tokens look great. Although the art style varies, just like much of the art in the book does, it can sometimes be jarring to have cartoonish looking characters next to something with a darker tone. I do like that they included the pieces for a puzzle that will be used in the third adventure. This gives your player something actually physical to interact with while they try to figure out what the puzzle is, or how to put it together. I don't want to spend a ton of time on the rules manual, but all of the rules that apply to the adventure are going to be in this booklet. If you want further information on how to play the game, check out my full review of the Adventurer's Guide, which will be linked in the description. One of the chapters is devoted to leveling up the pre-made characters to level 5. It all comes down to making a couple of choices, and honestly, I feel this could have been included in the pre-made characters themselves, much like how Star Wars the beginner box sets do for theirs. All of the monsters that are used in the adventures are statted in their own chapter at the end, most of them being around level 3 and level 4, although we do have some weak ones as well, like Challenge 1/8 or Challenge 1/4. The first adventure in this quest line is Clan Erin's Moot by Akeem Favor. The whole premise of the adventure is that the PCs have been hired by Clan Kurdax to help in uniting the 3 clans into Clan Erin. They are effectively bodyguards for this purpose. The first adventure begins with the characters arriving late for the job as mercenaries. It's assumed that a rival faction kept hindering their progress or preventing them from leaving whatever town they came from. And quite honestly, I would have loved to have started there. And if you are a GM looking to play, I would recommend you do so and kind of guide your players to the new rules for Level Up. There are 4 clans that the PCs will interact with. We have Clan Karnak, Clan Kerdax, Clan Warlaw, and then Clan Groth, which is a clan of ne'er-do-wells, bandits, and outcasts. Can you guess which one doesn't want the others to merge? Just before the PCs make it to Crest, where the meeting of the 3 clans will take place, they are waylaid by bandits, signaling off the first encounter. After which, the PCs make it to Crest, and they learn that they are the only group of hired mercenaries to make it to Crest. They are then asked to protect a meeting between the 3 clans' leaders, but that meeting is ambushed by cutthroats and thugs. It seems that someone in the 3 clans is leaking information. The PCs manage to successfully fend off the ambush, or not, and the 3 clans are able to come to a consensus. But there is a problem. In order for the unification to happen, they need a leader, and only the person who holds the crown of Clan Erin can actually lead Clan Erin. One of the clan leaders, Xander, has in his possession a secret chest that explains this, with instructions on how to find the crown. It requires 3 keys, one from each of the clan leaders. The PCs have to somehow convince the other 2 leaders to give up their prized heirlooms so that they can find the keys within them. With the chest open, an ambush takes place. Clan Groth's leader arrives himself to put a stop to the merging of the clans, alongside the betrayer. Once dealt with, Xander approaches the PCs once more to offer them the task of following the clues in the chest to the forest of Gal Tower, where they hope to find the crown of Clan Erin. Valley of Misfortune by Mother of Goblins is the second adventure in the questline, and this one acts more like a hex crawl without the hexes. The PCs are tasked with locating the crypt mentioned from the clues in the chest, but the forest is cursed and traversing it will be difficult. While they travel through the misty forest, PCs can come across the village of Druid, a corrupted grove, a mountain lookout, an abandoned elf village, a rotten orchard, and even the Fey Knight Bebaxed. The adventure makes great use of exploration counters, for example, Soul Pollution, which is a challenge for exploration encounter. The water glimmers in strange shapes swirling within, or are they faces? Yet despite the curious patterns below the surface is eerily calm. Magic cast on a larger body of water has allowed lost souls to be trapped inside, and these are bleeding out into the rivers and local water sources. Basically, it's like when Frodo stared at that one marsh too long and got dragged under. If you've read through the Trials and Treasures book for Level Up, this is pretty much how those exploration encounters work. Your party has to work together to overcome some sort of a test, and if they gain more successes than failures, then they pass, or if they gain critical failures, bad things will really happen. I really do like this system and how they differentiate between exploration, combat, and social encounters. Ultimately, it is up to the players on where they go, but the goal is to reach the crypt, which is on the bottom of the map. And I really wish the numbers on the GM map were in any color but black. It makes it really hard to find all of the location points. Once the PCs find the crypt, they will have to contend with the Fey Knight Bebaxed. They can fight him or convince him to release the cursed souls lingering in the forest. Either way, Crypt Erin will be free of the soul pollution in the next adventure, which is vital to actually gaining entrance. Crypt Erin by Anthony Alipio is the last adventure in this quest line. And the first part of this adventure has the PCs looking for Crypt Erin. They do this by following the river that led through the previous area. Hopefully, they dispatched Fey Knight Bebaxed, or else the crypt will be submerged in cursed water, and that's bad. The second part serves as a mini dungeon crawl. There are monsters to face and clues to discover, but it really is bare bones. The point is to discover enough about Lady Erin and what happened to her so that when they do encounter her, they can convince her to give up the crown through diplomacy. You can, of course, fight her, but that will not release the curse upon the clan's lands, and they'll kind of have it out for you. Lady Erin herself is quite formidable, being a challenge for Elite Legendary Monster. She has reactions that deal damage to those attacking her, and she has a powerful AoE. I do wish there was something more to just a standard fight, as those can get pretty stale when your party is just standing around with the monster and attacking it. Then again, if the PCs circumvented the other monsters in the crypt, you could very well bring those into the fight as well, making for an extremely challenging match. One thing that I really like about this adventure is the puzzle to the sarcophagus. The players will actually have to configure shapes to look like a crown, and the box set has the pieces. I think it was a very weird decision to take players from level 4 to level 5, but then again, this isn't really a beginner's box, this is a starter set. But doesn't that also imply that this is for beginners? The adventures are pretty bare bones, which can appeal to newer players, but the pre-generated characters are all at level 4, so there's a lot to keep track of for new players as well, which isn't necessarily a good thing. In terms of the adventures themselves, I don't really care that we get a whole lot of exposition at the beginning explaining why the PCs are late in getting to Crest. I much would have preferred to have actually played that out beforehand, and I would recommend that any GMs actually do that. Treat that as a beginning adventure for any new players, taking them maybe from level 2 to level 3 or from level 3 to level 4 and so on, before you actually get to the main quest line. Speaking of which, it's kind of assumed that you have a GM who knows how to GM. And what I'm trying to say is there isn't any advice for newer GMs. It's just a straight up grab and go adventure. The artwork is a pretty mixed bag for me, and I'm actually starting to see this among multiple EN Publishing or Level Up published books. The art styles are varied. Sometimes you'll have portraits with darker colors with a more serious tone, and then other times you'll have these cartoony looks with bright colors, and it's just a really stark contrast going from one to the other. I much would have preferred if there was more of a general art direction in this product, but then again, that's like the whole entire Level Up line is from what I'm seeing. And they have a lot of different artists working on this, which is a great thing. Again, I just wish there was more of a general direction for the art. Also, something that I have noticed, and this isn't the first time I've noticed it, it's some of the artwork looks absolutely blurry. And I don't like that. It makes it look like there's something wrong with the print or something along those lines. And speaking of which, I actually have noticed that some of the pieces are pixelated. Like the map that was shown at the beginning of the video was pixelated because it looked like it had been blown up just to fit the actual map or the paper size. And I expect my components to be of a higher quality than that, and I've actually noticed this in previous publications in the Level Up line. Take the Gazette Pass. This is from the annual 2022, for example. It's going to be very hard to see it, but at the very beginning, we've got blurry artwork. We've got pixelated artwork right there. So would I ever run this for my gaming group? No. If I'm going to introduce to them a system that's like 5e with just some minor changes, I would still want to start them at level 2, maybe level 3 first. Maybe level 1 if I'm running with complete noobs. If I were to use this, then I would have to come up with a separate adventure to kind of get them started before we actually delve into the main quest line, and that's going to be more work on my part. And by then, it's really a question of why bother having a starter set if your players are expected to kind of know how to play or run the game in the first place. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Give this video a huge thumbs up to support this series, and I will see you guys in the next video.